everyone, and welcome back to this channel. Thank you for clicking this video. And yes, welcome back to our K1 visa series. This video will be about us navigating through Form I-129F. But before we begin, let me show you how we can get access to the latest version of Form I-129F. We simply need to go to our browser, your preferred browser, of course. I'm always using Google, so I'm just showing you here. Just key in Form I-129F, and this should be our top result. Click on that, and it'll direct you to USCIS website. And in this page, you will be able to download Form I-129F, including the instructions for the form. So you just click on this and voila, it'll show you the form, which you can opt to save offline or save to your computer, or you can also directly just print it. So with that, let's now proceed to our presentation proper. Navigating Form I-129F. Let's start with a few reminders of how to fill out Form I-129F. You can either type or print legibly in black ink, so you can use your PDF reader, or you can print and write on the physical copy of the form. If you need extra space to complete any item within this petition, use the space provided in Part 8, Additional Information, or attach a separate sheet of paper. Type or print your name and alien registration number, if any, at the top of each sheet. Indicate the page number, part number, and item number to which your answer refers. And then lastly, most importantly, sign and date each sheet. Third would be answering all the questions fully and accurately. If a question does not apply to you, for example, if you have never been married and the question asks, provide the name of your current spouse. Type or print N/A, unless otherwise directed. If your answer to a question requires a numeric response is 0 or none, for example, how many children do you have, or how many times have you departed the United States? Type or print none unless otherwise directed. Now, with that, let's go to the first part of our form. So the topmost part will look like this, but as you can see, this is only for USCIS use only. You will begin to fill out the form here, which is the first part, Part 1. This is all about the petitioner. Part 1 is information, yes, about the petitioner. And here, items number 1 is asking for the alien registration number only if applicable. And number 2 is your USCIS online account number only also if applicable. This is if you have previously filed an application, petition, or request using the USCIS online filing system, or previously called USCIS Electronic Immigration System, provided by the USCIS online account number you were issued by the system. You can find your USCIS online account number by logging into your account and going to the profile page. If you previously filed certain applications, petitions, or requests on paper via USCIS lockbox facility, you may have received a USCIS online account access notice using your USCIS online account number. If you receive such notice, your USCIS online account number can be found at the top of the notice. And if you were issued a USCIS online account number, enter it in the space provided above. The USCIS online account number is not the same as your alien registration number. So that is very different, those two. Number three is your US Social Security number, if any. Items 4A to 5 is the classification requested. So obviously in our case, we are classified under K1 visa or the fiancé visa. So we tick that box. If you are filing to classify your spouse as a K3, have you filed I-130? So if you did, kindly tick that box as well. 6A to 6C is about your full name. Please provide your legal full name, family name, given name, and then your middle name. We also have here your other names used. Provide any other names you have used, including your aliases, maiden name, and nicknames. If you have used additional names, provide them in Part 8, additional information, should there be any more than one. Items 8A to 8J is your mailing address. Provide the address where you would like to receive the written correspondence regarding this petition. Indicate whether your mailing address is the same as the place that you reside or your physical address. Next, which is a continuation of your part 1, still on information about you. This is going to be your address history. Provide the addresses for the places you have resided over the last 5 years. So we have here physical address 1 and physical address 2. If you need an additional information, again, please provide the information in the space provided in Part 8, additional information. Items 13 to 20B would be about your employment history. Provide the names and addresses of your employers, your occupations, and the date of employment for the jobs you have held over the past or over the last 5 years. So that's that. Still on information about you. Now this is going to be about your other information. Items 21, please indicate your gender, whether you're a male or a female. Item number 22, date of birth. Provide your date of birth in month, date, year format. Number 23 is your marital status. Tick the box whether you're single, married, divorced, or widowed. And items number 24 to 26 will be your place of birth. Provide the name of the city or town or province or state and country where you were born. Now, items number 27 to 36B would be information about your parents. So please provide each of your parents' full names, dates of birth, and current cities, towns, or villages and countries of residence. Number 37 to 39 would be about your previous spouse, if applicable. Indicate whether you have been previously married, and if the answer is yes, provide the full names of each previous spouse and the date that each marriage ended. If you have more than one previous spouse, again, use Part 8, additional information, to respond to these questions. 40A to 42C would be about your citizenship information. Select the box that describes how you obtain your U.S. citizenship and indicate whether you obtained a certificate of naturalization or a certificate of citizenship, and provide the date and the place the document was issued. All right, so moving on to the next part, still a continuation on information about you or the petitioner. Items number 43 to 47 would be about your previous filings. So indicate whether you have ever filed another Form I-129F or any other for any other spouse or fiance. If your response is yes, provide that person's full name and the person's A number, if any. Provide the date you filed the petition and the final action taken. For example, if the petition is approved, denied, revoked, or withdrawn. If you have filed for more than one previous spouse or fiance, use Part 8 additional information to respond to these questions for each beneficiary. Now, your 48 to 49B would be about the ages of children. Indicate whether you have any children under 18 years of age. If your answer is yes, provide the age of each of your children under 18 years of age. And if you need extra space to complete this action, use the space provided in Part 8 additional information. There we go. And down here, 58 to 51B would be about the place you have resided. Provide all of the U.S. states and foreign countries in which you've resided since you reached 18 years of age. And if you need extra space to complete this section, use the space provided in Part 8 additional information. So we only have here Residence 1 and Residence 2. Use Part 8 if you need more. Now to Part 2. This is about your beneficiary. The first part from 1A to 1C, please provide your beneficiary's full legal name, and then number 2, if your beneficiary has an alien number, please also provide that, as well as the U.S. Social Security number if applicable. Provide the date of birth in month, date, year format. And number 4, select the gender. In number 5, whether a male or a female. And then the marital status, whether single, married, divorced, or widowed. 7 would be the birth, the city or town. And 8 would be the country of birth. And number 9, country of citizenship or nationality. We also have here other names issued. Just like for you, provide any other names your beneficiary may have used, including their aliases, maiden name, and nicknames. If you need another space to complete this section, please use the space provided in Part 8 for additional information. Still part of Part 2 would be the mailing address of your beneficiary. Provide your beneficiary's current mailing address and provide the mailing address in the United States if she has one. In 12A to 15B here, this would be about your beneficiary's address history in the last 5 years, where he or she resided the last 5 years. Number 16 to 23B, so on screen you'll see 16 to 19. This will be about your beneficiary's employment history. Provide the names and addresses of your beneficiary's employers, occupations, and the dates of employment for the jobs your beneficiary has held over the past 5 years. So up until 23, that would be about your beneficiary's employment history. Item number 24 is information about your beneficiary's parents. This is from 24A here to 33B. Provide of each of your beneficiary's parents' full names, dates of birth, places of birth, and current cities and countries of residence. Number 34 to number 36 will be the information of your beneficiary's previous spouses, if applicable. Indicate whether your beneficiary has ever been previously married. If your answer is yes, provide the full name of the beneficiary's previous spouse and the date that each marriage ended. If your beneficiary has more than one previous spouse, use the space provided in Part 8 additional information to respond to these questions for each spouse. If your answer is no, then please write NA on the boxes. For items 37 to 38H, this will be about Form I-94 Arrival Departure Record. Select the box to indicate whether your beneficiary has ever been to the United States and provide the date of your beneficiary's most recent entry in the United States. His or her I-94 Arrival Departure Record number if available, and his or her immigration status at the time of arrival. Example, student, tourist, temporary worker, or without inspection. Provide the expiration date and identification numbers on the I-94 or I-95 arrival departure records, travel documents, and or passports. You may also check what evidence should you submit section of these instructions for additional information. And if your beneficiary was admitted to the United States by CBP at an airport or seaport after April 30, 2013, he or she may have been issued an electronic form I-94 by CBP instead of a paper form I-94. So you may visit CBP website at www.cbp.gov/I-94 to obtain a paper version of an electronic form I-94. All right, so moving on to the next part, which is still a continuation of part 2, information about your beneficiary. Item number 39, does your beneficiary have any children? Tick yes if yes and no if no. So if your answer is yes, provide information about each child of your beneficiary. Include the child's full name, country of birth, and date of birth. If the child resides at a different address than your beneficiary, provide the address where the child currently resides. And if your beneficiary has more than one child, use Part 8 additional information to respond to item numbers 48 to 40H for each child. Numbers 45A to 46 over here is the address in the United States where your beneficiary intends to live. So provide the address and daytime telephone number where your beneficiary intends to live when he or she arrives in the United States. So normally this would be the petitioner's address, obviously. Item number 47 to 48. So this is your beneficiary's physical address abroad. So provide the address and daytime telephone where your beneficiary currently resides abroad, if she is currently residing abroad. Items number 49 to 50F is your beneficiary's name and address in his or her native alphabet. If your beneficiary's alphabet does not use Roman letters, provide his or her name and physical address abroad in the native alphabet. Otherwise, just skip this question and proceed to item number 51. So still, this is a part of your beneficiary's information. Item number 51 is your beneficiary related to you, to indicate whether you and your beneficiary have a familial relationship, and if so, describe the nature and degree of relationship. For example, second cousins, maternal aunt or uncle, and select NA if the beneficiary is your spouse. Items number 53 to 54 is used to describe the circumstances of your in-person meeting. Attach evidence to demonstrate that you were in each other's physical presence during the required 2-year period. And if you need extra space to complete this section, use the space provided in Part 8 additional information. If you respond no to item number 53, explain in detail any reasons you may have for requesting an exemption from the requirement that you and your fiancé must have met in person during the 2 years immediately before filing this petition in item number 54. You must request a waiver and demonstrate that meeting in person would have posed an extreme hardship on you or violated strict and long-established customs of your fiancé's foreign culture or social practice, and that any of and all aspects of the traditional arrangements may have been or will be met in accordance with the custom or practice. Include evidence to support your claim. Evidence may include things like medical records, statements from religious leaders, or evidence of immediate danger. If you need extra space to complete the section, again, use the space provided in Part 8, which is additional information. Now, select NA in item number 53 if the beneficiary is your spouse. In number 55 to 61 here, this will be about the International Marriage Broker IMB information. So indicate whether you met your beneficiary through the service of an IMB, and if your response is yes, provide the IMB's name, organization, website, address, daytime telephone number, and for more information of the definition of IMB, of what this refers to, refer to the instruction page. There is an IMB Marriage Broker Regulation Act section. You must also provide a copy of the signed written consent form that IMB obtained from your beneficiary to authorize the release of your beneficiary's personal contact information to you. So if the consent form is written in any language other than English, you must provide a certified English translation with the form. All right, so moving on to items number 62. So 62A to 62B, this is about U.S. Embassy or U.S. Consulate requested. Provide the city or town in the country of the U.S. Embassy or U.S. Consulate where your beneficiary will apply for his or her visa. The designation of a U.S. Embassy or a U.S. Consulate outside the country in which your beneficiary resides does not guarantee acceptance for processing by that foreign post. Acceptance is at the discretion of the designated U.S. Embassy or U.S. Consulate. So under U.S. immigration law, a foreign national who marries a U.S. citizen outside the United States and seeks K-3 visa must apply for the K-3 visa in the country where the marriage took place. In the event that you and your spouse are married in the United States, you must list the country of your spouse's beneficiary or your beneficiary's current residence provided in Part 2, item number 47A to 47F. So the next part, which is our Part 3, will be other information. This is about criminal information. So you indicate whether you have ever been the subject of a temporary or permanent protection order or restraining order, either civil or criminal, related to any of the crimes specified below, arrested or convicted of any crimes specified. If you were ever arrested or convicted of any of the specified crimes, you must submit certified copies of all court and police records showing the charges and disposition of every arrest or conviction. You must do so even if your records were sealed, expunged, or otherwise cleared, and regardless of whether anyone, including a judge, law enforcement officer, or attorney, informed you that you no longer have a criminal record. So there is a list of specified crimes that you may check on the instruction sheet for I-129F. So part 3 here of yes. So this is still on the crimes committed and arrested, if you are arrested and convicted, if applicable. And part 4 would be your biographic information. Provide your biographic information as a part of this petition. So you must fill it out properly so that our time is not reduced in setting an appointment as described in the biometrics services section of the instructions. So we have the ethnicity or race. Select the box that best describe your ethnicity and your race. So we have here a few categories and definitions for ethnicity and race. Hispanic or Latino. A person of Cuban, Mexican, Puerto Rican, South or Central American or other Spanish culture or origin regardless of race. So this category is only included under ethnicity, part 4, item number 1. So here we have race. What is a white? White is a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. Asian is a person having origins in any of the original peoples of the Far East, Southeast Asia, or the Indian subcontinent, including, for example, Cambodia, China, India, Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Pakistan, the Philippine Islands, Thailand, and Vietnam. Black or African American, a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. American Indian or Alaska Native, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of North and South America, including Central America, and who maintains tribal affiliation or community attachment. Next is the Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander. This is a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Hawaii, Guam, Samoa, or other Pacific Islands. Yes. And next to that would be your height. Your height, select the values that best match your height in feet and inches. For example, if you're 5 feet and 9 inches, select 5 for feet and 9 for inches. Do not enter your height in meters or centimeters. All right, for weight, as indicated there, enter your weight in pounds. Do not enter your weight in kilograms. Your eye color, select the eye color that best describes your eyes: black, gray, maroon, blue, green, pink, brown, hazel, and others. Number 6, select the box that would describe your hair color: bald, brown, sandy, black, gray, white, blonde, red, and others. That would be in reference to your natural hair color. Part 5, this is the petitioner's statement, contact information, declaration, certification, and signature. So for items 1A to 6B, select the appropriate box to indicate whether you read this petition yourself or whether you had an interpreter assist you. If someone assisted you in completing the petition, select the box indicating that you used a preparer. Further, you must sign and date your petition and provide your daytime telephone number, mobile telephone number, and email address. Every petition must contain the signature of the petitioner or the parent or the guardian if applicable. A stamped or typewritten name in place of the signature is not applicable. So here is the box for the petitioner's signature and the date below in month, date, year format. Part 6 would be your interpreter's contact information and certification and signature. So if you use anyone as an interpreter to read the instructions and questions on this petition in a language in which you are fluent, the interpreter must fill out this section. Provide his name, the name and the address of her business or organization, if any, her daytime telephone number or mobile telephone number, and email address if applicable. The interpreter must also sign this petition and date using the month, date, year format. The last part would be your additional information. Now, for the items that was mentioned in parts 1 to 7 that would require additional information, this would be the page where you can fill out or add more information about the questions. And if another form is necessary, say for example, if you have more than 2 children, for example, and it won't fit here, you may add an additional sheet wherein, as mentioned earlier, you need to indicate your name and your alien registration number, if applicable, at the top of each sheet. And you must also indicate the page number, part number, and item number to which your answer refers to. And lastly, most importantly, sign and date each sheet. All right, and that would be all for this presentation. I hope that I was able to help you in navigating through Form I-129F. I will be leaving a link below where you can download the latest version of Form I-129F as well as the copy of the instructions so you could go through it yourself. And yeah, good luck to all of us who are applying for this K1 visa. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in our next K1 video. Bye. Thank you.